Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking on something absolutely massive and honestly super exciting. We aren't just looking at cool animation or flashy fight scenes here. We're going to completely unpack the underlying psychology of exactly why certain scenes from our favorite animated shows just transcend the screen. We want to understand how these specific moments culturally resonate with millions of people globally, how they totally shatter our expectations and leave a permanent mark on pop culture. We are looking at the absolute peaks of narrative payoff and, yes, some profound emotional damage along the way.
So this is the core question we need to answer today. Think about it. What's the secret ingredient that elevates a really great scene into an unforgettable, internet-breaking masterpiece that fans literally talk about for decades? What actually separates the good from the genuinely legendary? Okay, let's dive into this. To answer that question, we didn't just pick our personal favorites. We went big and analyzed an epic scale of data. We've synthesized 130 iconic scenes spanning well over 2 decades of modern anime history from our sources. We've taken all of these legendary standoffs, the heartbreaking confessions, and the world-shattering reveals, and distilled them all down into core thematic pillars. And by doing this, we can clearly see the underlying architecture of a masterpiece. Section 1. Breaking the power scale and the anatomy of hype. Let's jump right into the adrenaline-pumping spectacles and ultimate power-ups that completely define the medium. You know that feeling when characters push past their absolute limits? It creates an unforgettable rush. These aren't just mere strength increases, they're global cultural events. Consider Ichigo saving Rukia at the last possible second by finally unlocking his first Bankai. It fundamentally shifts the entire momentum of the series. Then we have the absolute cartoonish joy of Luffy's Gear 5, an awakening that completely rewrote the rules of physics in his universe. And of course, Goku's mastery of Ultra Instinct. That moment brilliantly captured hardcore fans' nostalgia by bringing it back to pure martial arts instinct, while totally blinding casual viewers with exquisite god-tier animation. They're the ultimate actualization of years of grueling struggle. But hype isn't just about glowing auras and new hair colors, right? It's deeply rooted in immense physical and emotional stakes. Take All Might facing off against All for One. He burns through the very last embers of his fading power. It is the most glorious, desperate goodbye to a hero's career. He pours every ounce of his remaining life force into landing his final United States of Smash technique, leaving his opponent taking the concussive force of a full country to the face. The stakes are agonizingly real because we know there is no coming back from this strike. We can actually break down the flow of these peak battles into a specific dominance formula. A truly legendary fight is almost always this perfectly balanced mix, roughly a third pure willpower and hostility, a third dedicated to a mind-blowing final reveal, and a final third consisting of a devastating, one-sided beatdown. Why do we crave this? Because it's the ultimate narrative release. Think of Chairman Netero facing the Chimera Ant King. Netero reveals this massive, multi-armed construct of pure golden energy, a final play specifically tailored to squash down his invincible opponent. It's a breathtaking display of dominance that redefines the hierarchy of power. Section 2. The cost of victory. Heartbreak and ultimate sacrifice. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we shift the narrative tone from hype to heartbreak, exploring the profound human costs that ground these incredible shows. Let's juxtapose two vastly different but equally devastating sacrifices. First, the brilliant strategist Lelouch. His sacrifice is a calculated, world-uniting self-assassination. He poses as a ruthless tyrant to draw all the world's hatred onto himself, only to arrange his own very public demise. In total contrast, we have Catan. His is a spontaneous fiery leap on a one-way trip directly into crushing gravity just to destroy a superweapon and save his friends. Both characters willingly gave up everything to secure a future for others, but in completely contrasting ways. And then we have character-defining realizations, like this iconic admission. Trunks, Bulma, I do this for you. And yes, even for you, Kakarot. When Vegeta, the fiercely arrogant prince, makes his ultimate sacrifice, it's a monumental shift. He lets go of his deep-seated pride for his newfound family and acknowledges his bitterest rival. This profound growth is exactly why anime connects so deeply with viewers well beyond just the flashy combat.
Section 3. The human element and pure emotional catharsis. Let's bring the tempo down here to focus on the romance, the reunions, and the philosophical breakthroughs.
You can literally see the distinct flavors of connection that define these emotional payoffs. In pure romance, Your Name gives us that gorgeous climax where the protagonists finally speak in their own bodies against a twilight background. For family reunions, The Apothecary Diaries delivers a heartbreaking twist. Lock-in seeing true beauty in a diseased Feng Xian and taking her as his wife as her mind fades. And for Brotherhood, Fullmetal Alchemist shows us the ultimate cost of equivalent exchange. Edward gives up his alchemy forever to restore Alphonse's body. The sight of those two limping out of the gate of truth arm in arm, it gets us every single time. But sometimes emotional catharsis comes from enduring suffering to prove profound inner growth. Take the incredible farm arc in Vinland Saga. Thorfinn endures a brutal, agonizing beating of 100 punishing blows without fighting back, just to secure a peaceful audience with King Canute and save an innocent farm. By refusing to raise his fists, he humbles every single battle-hardened soldier gathered there. Which leads to this striking, quiet realization: I have no enemies. This quote is the absolute pinnacle of character evolution. Think about how sharply that contrasts with the explosive, world-ending action we saw earlier. It's a quiet, beautiful resolution of a broken man finally understanding the pacifist words his father told him, choosing peace over violence. Section 4. The Paradigm Shift. World-shattering plot twists. Let's move to our final act and see how all this builds into the jaw-dropping twists and character shifts that change the game forever. In Death Note, Light Yagami executes this act of depraved genius. He plots every single variable months ahead of time, intentionally erasing his own memory of being the supernatural killer to throw off his pursuers. Then, he snatches his memories right back at the exact crucial moment. He transforms a complex narrative beat into a perfectly executed trap. We get to watch a master manipulator brilliantly outsmart himself to corner his prey. It's so insidious and so brilliant. Then there's the exact moment the dominoes fall for an entire world. Eren infiltrates Marley and transforms into the massive Attack on Titan. Right as the world leaders make this grandiose declaration of war against Paradis, Eren bursts from beneath the building. He shifts from an angry child fighting for survival into a terrifying, morally ambiguous threat, murdering their leader. It completely turned the story on its head and permanently blurred the lines between hero and villain. And honestly, the biggest twists don't just change the plot, they literally rewrite the rules of reality itself. Midora transcends into a literal god, resetting the entire universe to prevent magical girls from turning into monsters. Meanwhile, Giorno's power, Gold Experience Requiem, evolves into a literal Uno reverse card that entirely denies the concept of cause and effect. These paradigm shifts place characters at the absolute pinnacle of power and redefine their entire universes. We've covered an immense landscape today, guys. We've mapped everything from quiet, tear-jerking confessions and deeply human sacrifices, all the way to universe-resetting gods altering reality itself. It just proves that this medium is completely unmatched in its ability to generate raw, adrenaline-pumping hype and incredibly deep emotion. So, looking back at all the masterpieces we've analyzed, from quiet confessions to universe-resetting gods, which moment truly broke the internet for you? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.